Well. Hello, everybody. We are live today. And today, we're not just live on LinkedIn, we're actually live on Facebook and YouTube and LinkedIn all together. After all the fun that happened with the Children's Day, when the children actually, well, they took over from us, and it was lovely to watch them have their blast. And we should do it more often, is what we think. But today is a very special live. Precisely what you can see on the screen is today is the big reveal day. Yes, you all have been hearing about it from us left, right, and center. We've been going gaga about it. But today we actually tell you what precisely exactly it is. And who do we have to unveil that? We have Dev Kabir Malik, none other than the man behind all the awesome and cool fun stuff. And we will talk to you more about it. Where does he come from? What's he done? What's so special about it? And why are we obsessed by his work? But before we do that, ladies and gentlemen, what do we do precisely whenever we come on live? We talk to you guys directly because, hey, we want to know you. So here we go, and we start with a few icebreakers. And for today, because some of you have already been following the content and you know what we are building up for and where we are taking you. So here is the first question, and I'm just ogling at the comment section right now. Here's the first question for you guys. We would love to know this from you. Why are brand colors so important? Why are colors so important? Jay Mishra is saying the big reveal. I already see that Jay has an updated profile picture. We'll talk a little bit about that. For all of you who are wondering what's going on with everyone at Planet Spark, they're just getting a new shade into their profiles. We'll talk about it. Apurva is saying can't wait. Well, looks like we're building up. It's pretty, but guys, I do want to know from you guys, why do you think brand colors are important? We want to know this from our community. And with this particular session, we also want to kind of talk about branding and kind of share and help everyone understand a little bit more about what's the thought that goes behind when we are building a brand. Priyanka is saying hi. Kaushik is answering. He's saying the brand colors are important because they make the brand eye catchy. Aparna is saying she can't wait to know more about what we have planned for today. Let me just move on to quickly the next question that we have. And while you guys can always, oh my God, Samir is saying tell fast. This is the first time people really don't want to listen to me talk, and I just love that. I'll just quickly move on. Like you said, I'll take your advice and I'll move fast. Here's the next question. If given a chance, which colors would you pick for Planet Spark? Yes, our lovely community, let us know. Ajay is saying, can't wait, bro. It's just lovely to see that how many of you are excited. Tell fast, don't make us wait. Yeah, so we're just about to do it. Just give us a moment. It tells people about brand personality. Yes, the poor which Charlie does. Hi, waiting. Everyone is super excited for it. It's just lovely to see because every color is about its own frequency, and there's so much more that is coming in. Guys, final pick. Okay, final one. Final questions here on your screen right now. And that is, what is one word that comes to your mind when we say the word confidence? We definitely do want to know this. Oh, wow. We have like answers of the previous question. A lot of people are saying, let me just quickly go back and tune into these answers. Tulsi is saying blue and red. Uh, Aprasha is saying black, of course. Jay is saying orange and blue. Wow, a lot of blue or black and a lot of red is happening. White and red. Okay. Neon and black. Okay. Uh, Positivity, sky blue. Lovely. Let's just quickly go back. Let's just quickly go back to the final questions we have, guys. What's the word that comes to your mind when we say the word confidence? Tulsi is saying necessary. Astha is saying personality. Jay Mishra, who is our team member, he's saying Planet Spark, of course. If I was in the audience, I'd be writing exactly the same thing. Jay, well done. Pooja is saying discipline. Aprajita is saying attitude. Well, guys, a lot of this fun stuff that's already been happening. Let me just quickly get back to what we have planned for you guys today. And if you guys are having fun answering these questions, it's just going to be super lovely and amazing for you guys to kind of like enjoy the conversation today, because we have a very special guest. Have you guys ever heard about the lovely brand Bida, wherein the entire branding is just so lovely, and it's just takes us in awe with all the caricatures and characters and lovely story building that they have in all of that. But ladies and gentlemen, none other than the man behind that is here with us today. And hey, let me just move a little bit here, because it just always happens. I don't really know what really happens, but to kind of tell you a little bit about our guest today, ladies and gentlemen, let me just tell you this: that it's going to be an exciting conversation with the man who knows everything precisely about branding. And I have a lot of questions to ask for him. And he's the man behind the new look, the new defined look of Planet Spark. I cannot take down my tone today and the excitement because it's just so lovely to have our guest here today. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, all our audience, put your hands together and give it a warm welcome to none other than Dev Kabir Malik. Hi, Dave. How are you doing today?
Very well, Jatin. Thank you for having me.
It is lovely to have you, and finally, we can have the conversation that I have been dying to have with you for
Right.
quite a lot of time. But how about we start this conversation a little bit, kind of like our audience can get to know you a little bit. How about we change
Absolutely.
those, turn those tables? Mostly I think founders and directors, all of you guys would always ask people, tell us a little bit about yourself. I just love to kind of turn that table around when you guys come here. So tell us a little bit about you, there.
All right. So I essentially really enjoy working with brands. I love creating brands. I love working with companies when they find their brand purpose, and we're finding a way to sort of create that. Because and this is purely my take. I believe that uh, one way to view even creativity and art is its value lies if a lot of people can experience it. And I think there's putting that into something like a brand, something that a lot of people interact with, that's really where the fun is. The fun is not that an art piece is in one person's home. I think there's a lot of fun in doing things that are creative for everybody, and everybody can be a part of it. So it becomes a living, breathing sort of story that everyone's a part of, and that's what I love, like participating in with companies such as yours and all the other people I've worked with. That's sort of my thinking here.
Yeah, it's lovely. It's lovely because especially that I have been working with you, engaging with you from the last couple of days. I think it's been a very wonderful exchange of energy. It's just so interesting that how you're always very calm and you're always very there. But what I do want to know from you is, from your area of specialization, and this is kind of quite the question that has been the buzzword around. A lot of people kind of like, talk about branding. For them, branding is a logo change, or for them, branding is a cover change. Sometimes it's, the typography. But to kind of get to you, someone who kind of like knows it to the core, how would you tell us about branding and, for a layman, if we were to ask?
So I think see brand development or like a brand refresh is always about change. I think branding itself as an exercise is a creation of experiences around any sort of brand or any sort of company or any set of experiences together can make a brand, whether it's around a person or a company. But
Right.
those experiences are delivered through various vehicles, and it's easy to understand that maybe just typography or let's say the logo is central there, because often that's the first point of contact or the first point of recall, but that's not the entirety of it. But that's sort of where you lead with. That's the tone of the hi that you say to a customer or someone you meet again. So someone that you're
Right.
already interacting with or someone that's new. But the idea of branding is it's a collective exercise that is done by every stakeholder, you know and because it's not just a logo refresh is not a rebrand. A rebrand is a company changing direction, about everybody working there, aligning to a new vision. It's always transformational internally and externally, and that's when it's exciting, because a logo refresh is just a visual exercise. So the
Right.
idea is the visual exercise should communicate what's happening, but something has to be happening. There has to be change at
Yeah.
the center, and depending on the change, different things get refreshed, and those are often mistaken as branding, but branding is a much larger exercise, and branding can't be done without people, right? So it's always eventually about
Yeah.
people, the people interacting and the people who are creating it and who are actually running the thing. So
Yeah. So when you say like people are very, very important to all of this, I'm gonna keep that line, I'm gonna put it aside, and I'm gonna get back to that on you towards the
right.
end of the session. We're gonna just like show you something we've kind of put up. But here is something that when we started engaging with the community today, and there are a lot of comments that are coming in. We asked everyone that why are colors important. Now, if you look at us right now, you see the logo that we're just about to say bye bye to our like there's there's so much memory, there's so much emotion that you have attached to something that you create and you work with. So we want to talk about colors, how colors and how the orange and the purple kind of like moves to the solar yellow, the radiant red, and the earth blue. and then what's the emotion connect? Tell us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So I think I think if you look at the current colors, they make sense for the idea of like, see, it's called Planet Spark. There was always a space theme that sort of your brand started with. It becomes engaging
Yeah,
for becomes engaging for the children. It becomes engaging for the students. But I think one thing we wanted to do here with the change in color was to reimagine space. Space doesn't always have to be dark. Can't we think of space
yeah,
as something that's bright, that's lit up? And that's where we sort of decided to have a triad of colors, all sort of drawing from these elements. So we have what we call a planetary blue, which is like an earth blue. So that's sort of like the daytime versus the nighttime, which is usually associated with space. So that becomes a little unexpected. We have a bright high energy color, which is like a radiant red. And of course, the whole idea of the transformation of the spark itself comes from the idea of light. You have the idea of like a solar yellow. So these three colors together is sort of our version of sort of doing space in a more unexpected manner, doing keep sticking with the space theme, sticking with what is planetary and interplanetary about the brand, which is fun, but making it high energy, making it more vibrant, and at the same time also choosing three colors that are, from a technical perspective, very easy to reproduce across various media, and at the same time
right.
colors that can be used by themselves as well as standalone colors when we want to dial up the seriousness. We always want the flexibility of being playful when we need to and serious when we need to. So that was the idea here.
Yeah, and I've been pretty excited myself, and the entire team has been playing around with all the new colors and all the fun stuff that now we can create, and especially because there's just so many elements which we will be keeping our calm right now and talking about in the process a little later. But
Right.
we're nearing kind of like the reveal of like changing the logo right on this live, ladies and gentlemen. Everyone who is listening to us right now, who's watching us from across all platforms, let us tell you this, that we will be revealing the Planet Spark logo in less than 2 minutes from now. We're pretty excited about it. And before we kind of get to it, we kind of get to the reveal. Here is one more question I want to kind of like throw at you. Uh, while we did talk about the brand colors and we did talk about it, what flair that kind of comes in. Before we release the logo, we definitely do want to touch a little bit upon what's the story behind the transformation from the current logo to the new form of Planet Spark, the way it's been taken. To kind of like drop a little bit, we will then get into the visual keys and we will talk a little bit more about that. But the reveal happens right after this. So over to you now.
So the story is it's fairly simple. I mean, we always have to remember that when you look at a visual logo, it always comes from the name. So it can't be disconnected. It has to make sense. If I say Planet Spark and I see something completely different, it should still make sense. Right now we're used to seeing a planet and a silhouette of a child, and you're like, okay, children, planet Spark, it makes sense. So at the same
Right.
time, we wanted something that's completely different, something that's very flexible, that sort of brings the communication centric focus of the company that that you're going to follow now in the coming years, the sort of global, exciting, flexible focus, but at the same time, makes sense for the fact that it is Planet Spark. Those two things have to obviously be represented. But can we
Right.
do it in a manner that's unexpected? What are the ways in which we can think of Planet Spark in ways that it has not been thought before? And it still makes sense for what we're doing. And will give us all the flexibility moving forward where it becomes a living, breathing brand that can keep transforming and keep like engaging the audience. And that's the thought. That's the thought that guided the whole process.
Right. And we will of course get more into detail for sure, for sure. I see that you have a little bit of smile on your face because you know what is happening next. Can we okay. So here we go. This is the big reveal moment, guys. You're looking at the trophy, you're looking at Planet Spark right now. This is something you've seen at the proud moment alert when we do live with our team. It's something which will happen just about right now. And just to kind of to release it, we have a lot of love that's happening about. Can't wait for the big reveal. Yes, Apurv, it's just about to happen now. But while that's happening, I would request everyone who's in the audience with us to drop a fire emoji in the chat box so that we can go ahead with the transformation with our community today. And with Dev Kabir Malik, of course, our dear guest who's joined us today to tell us a lot more about the journey of how the transformation has happened. Rohit saying excellent. Rohit, it's not time to say excellent. It's time to drop a fire emoji in the chat box because that's precisely how we are going to unveil the new, oh my God, transformation. A lot of people are like excited. I just love it. I love you guys so much for all the energy that you just throw back. But it's pretty crazy, Dave. It's pretty crazy. What we did was we actually wanted to not just do it just internally. We wanted to go ahead, play around with our LinkedIn community. We dropped a little bit of clues. We asked them to kind of like clap or give us a heart emoji on these posts. Usually, the journey of the entire brand, we feel it's more internal. Like I personally felt it's more internal because the entire team should be aware. But now, when we do have our own online communities with members who, not employees in Planet Spark, but they do follow us, they do want to know what we're doing. And we wanted them to be a part of this transformation and of this journey. And of course, while it is the day of the big reveal, there's quite a lot more to come. And when I say that, there are a lot of fire emojis that are happening. Yes! Akil saying excited. Akil, you're excited too. Dave. Now I want you to give me a go here. And right after the reveal, when we kind of talk a little bit about the brand, and then we delve deep into the visual keys, and then we kind of delve deep into how the halo and the orbit and how I will just keep it to myself because I think it's best if you come across with it. Since the audience has spoken and since there are just so many fire emojis that are happening, there are cracker bursts that are happening, and there are a lot of lovely profile pictures in the chat box that we see right now. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here we go. Dave, do we have your permission to unveil the new Planet Spark logo?
Absolutely.
And bam! Ladies and gentlemen, you're looking right now. The logo has been changed on the top right, and it has been changed right in the center of the screen. This is the big reveal moment. Dave, over to you. Tell us all about it. We can see it. What do you think about it, audience? Give us what you think about it. Tell us what you feel about the logo. We're pretty excited. But are you guys? Dave, tell us everything about the logo now. What's the journey? What's the story? Tell us about the keys. I'm going to be quiet now because I really genuinely want to give all my ears to this conversation.
Shall we start with the visual keys or just jump straight in?
I mean, it's totally up to you. Do you want me to move to the visual keys? I think it'll be great for audience.
I would love to start with the visual keys, and then we can come right back to it. I think that's
lovely. So I'm gonna put the visual keys on. Cool. Here we go with the keys. Yes.
So as I was saying, guys, I think the idea was that it is Planet, it is Spark. We wanted to work together, but I think the way it evolved was we wanted to make sure it covered the things that we wanted to cover. Planet, it is where the people are coming. It is central to this. It is central to the idea. But how do you represent a planet? And that's where we decided that often a planet is best represented with the orbit that follows everything that surrounds it. And that orbit we thought of as a halo or a doorway for transformation for the students, for the children. And the spark, which is very much a part of the name already. What does the spark say? What is it all about? It's the sort of the idea, the confidence, the thought, the sort of eureka moment for children, especially when the confidence is sparked. What becomes of that spark? And who is the spark for, which is the student? And how, in this case, is the focus around speech, communication, and language, and what that means for for the child going forward in whatever sphere they sort of pursue. So these are the thoughts that sort of we had these thoughts. We said, okay, what are the visual cues that can bring this all together, and what is the best way to represent this in a way that is unique, that is unlike anybody else in this space, and which also gives us the flexibility to do as many things as possible. And that is how we sort of came to this new Planet Spark identity, where we have the use of these colors, we have the halo and the spark happening, we have the sort of central character, which is sort of been awakened or enlightened or whatever you would like to call it. We have the nod to the speech bubble, but also the nod to the planet. So sort of by itself, it sort of says Planet Spark. And of course, it's reinforced in more formal cases with the entire typography, which we've also sort of chosen to adopt a more playful approach where we have a mix of uppercase, lowercase, be quirky but also be serious at the same time. And that's the idea. We have something that's fun. It's about the children. It's for the children. But at the same time, it is a serious company, and we wanted to work for both things. It's not all fun and games. You want to be able to be
Yeah.
playful. You want to be able to be serious, because the parents want seriousness at times also, right? So you want to be credible. You want to be global, and you want it to be a living, breathing system. And that's the idea.
Yeah, and like it's so exciting because while we do have and we do, have a lot of kids and it's a lovely kid community and it's growing and thank God, like these kids are awesome. They're like lovely, awesome, okay. But at the end of the day, we kind of have to go and talk to the parent and counsel them first and understand first, what's best for their kids. So the kind of the personality of the brand has to work for both. For of course the kids, they should, have the fun and learn in the process. And for the parents, of course, at the same time, because they're the ones who kind of like coming to the platform, kind of like absorbing it. That's lovely. But tell us a little bit about this. What's happening right here? What do we see on screen? Tell us the community. What's going on here?
This is the child coming out of the shell, or the logo about to be revealed. This is really just a teaser. It's not anything. The spark has not occurred at the moment. I think it's all this is.
We when we saw this in the identity, we went like pretty bonkers crazy because the entire idea of the halo and the orbit and how kind of like you're getting transformed and the color change that's happening as you see in the logo also the
Right.
earth blue kind of goes through a radiant red it's just like very exciting. It's a lovely cash to it, and of course why would it not when it is coming from somebody as awesome as you? Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Let us know how you like the Planet Spark emoji. And since the word is spark, how about you drop a spark in the chat box, Dave? Let me show you what our community is talking about in the comment section, and let me just drop a few. Uh, okay, someone's saying present, someone's saying fire emoji, someone's saying woohoo. Wow, a lot of woohoo and nice and shout out to the new logo. There's wow, there's excellent. There's so much love, really innovative. And it's just lovely to see emerging with transformation, is what Himesh is saying. Thank you so much, everyone. I think it's exciting to have a community that really does want to kind of like voice their opinion and wants to be a part of this journey. It's never really fun without a community to kind of like have that experience, and especially when something as transformational as the big reveal that's happening. um Dave, I do have a couple of more questions for you. I'm so sorry. I did promise you, we'll free you up soon. But there's
No worries.
quite a few that we definitely do want to take. You don't get like people as important and busy as you on these sessions that easy. So we might as well
You're
make the most
embarrassing
of
me.
our
Yeah.
time. Okay, so here it is. While we just revealed the logo and now the entire social kind of gets transformed all across today. My team's right now on the call. They're listening to this. They're updating it all across on our social platforms as we speak right after the reveal. But what I do want to know is tell us a little bit about the transformation of the website, because the website's next, and then there are a couple of more things. The big reveal is not just done yet. There's more to come. Let's tell the community about it. Let's talk a bit about the new website.
Sure. So I think the idea was, it's not just the website. I think what we're doing is we're revealing it in parts, and I think a brand story gets
Yeah.
told in parts. But what we've accounted for is really like a long journey of all the places where they'll start interacting with the brand. The website obviously being the most central,
Yeah.
but soon things like the background, like there'll be live backgrounds. There'll be we could have various curriculum documents. You could have merchandise. You could have everything. It becomes a living, breathing brand that exists in various ways. And I think one thing we were very, that was a very central driving thought, was that while we have this logo, which is sort of an instance of all the core elements, each of these elements in various by themselves in various bits of communication can take on lives of their own. And and also again, like the idea is that each student can make it their own. It can get customized. It can become almost avatars for each person. There's so many there's so much potential, but it all will get revealed over time. It will manifest over time, even though we're accounting for it from day one. There is a
Yeah.
natural
Yeah.
sort of life cycle that it will follow, and maybe a year from now, 2 years from now, it'll all make sense together. All the little things. And especially for something like this, which is about learning, which is about children, which is about thought and excitement. It's important for a brand not to be repetitive. So the idea is that while you have a
Yeah.
central core repeating unit, all the elements together can remind you of the brand without just repeating in the same way everywhere with one logo, just being plastered in the same way. Each thing has its
Yeah.
own life, but at the same time, it's always Planet Spark. It's always there to sort of remind you who's doing this, and Planet Spark's always at the center, but it's more a universe we're trying to create rather than like a single instance.
Yeah, I like that conversation, the statement in like at multiple facets. Actually, I like the universe with how what you're trying to build, and more importantly, you kind of say that how the repetition is kind of like a killer here. It cannot happen. It's because more importantly, it's with kids. The creativity has to come from like different areas and ambits, and more of the more flavors have to come out of it. But while that's quite interesting, at the same time, it's incredible to kind of like understand, and I think it will be lovely for the community to also kind of like understand how the entire journey has to come out as a story, like you mentioned. It just cannot be just because it's called the big reveal. It doesn't necessarily need to be that everything changes the same day. It shouldn't be. I think the entire community should get a chance to kind of absorb that change, and it should be very slowly, and you kind of like communicate with them and play around and let people know what they're saying, and then kind of like bring that story out so that you enjoy the journey also in the process. Love that and love that. And while that is, of course, extremely awesome, but let's move on to the next in line that we have, and that is none other than, and of course, then we'll move to the final one, is the app that we're talking about. I have seen the logo, guys. Dave is extremely modest here, and he talks like really nicely about everything. But I have seen a lot of this stuff which is going to come out, and it's pretty exciting. So tell us a little bit about what was it when we kind of like we're thinking about the app and we think about the logo that has to go on there, and how was it different, or what were we thinking when we were doing that?
I think again with the app, because the identity is flexible, every instance, every use case where we have poetic license, we use it, and in formal occasions, we use the standard forms. And I think that's the fun we have here. When you have take something like an app logo, like and when people will see it, the app is already on someone's phone. I don't need to
Yeah.
repeat the same logo as long as it reminds you of it. But there's always room for a little bit of play. The play can be dialed up, the play can be subdued, but it's always fun to play a little bit and to trust our audience, to trust our users, and not say that, oh, they won't understand. Of course they'll understand. The kids will understand. The
Yeah.
parents will understand. And I think that's very important. Like, we don't have to dumb things down as long as we make sure things uh, as long as we involve people and we have their attention, we can have fun with them. So
Right.
the I think the emphasis is making sure we have people's attention rather than trying to bombard them with repetition, because anyone will tune it out. We're bombarded with stuff all day, so it's more important to
Yeah.
get people's attention. And yeah.
I'm pretty sure on that. There's no repetitions for sure happening because I haven't seen any there in the cool stuff that I've seen coming. But there's like the final one that we do want to talk about, and this is a lot of people within the team of Planet Spark have been asking us, "Hey, Jatin, are we coming up with a mascot? Is something like that's going to happen?" And we do have a lot of clubs. We have the debating club, we have the theater troupe, we have the podcasting studio, and we have like so much more at Planet Spark. And I don't really think that while even though there is a story of a mascot, I would like to know from this is, I think a lot of people kind of like ask this because Bira has a lovely mascot there and it has a lot of fun imagery about what is it for Planet Spark. Do we get a mascot? What do we get there? Tell us a little bit about that, and I think let's just unveil it to the audience now. We did talk a little bit about it before this conversation, but I would want you to kind of tell everyone that what is this mascot conversation really about, and let the community know.
Sure. So we do not have a mascot. Let me say that outright. What we do have is a core instance of brand elements that make up your logo. And that system actually is the idea is not to have one mascot, but almost have something that every child can make their own mascot, or that can become multiple things. The idea of the identity was to have elements that can play around, evolve, become many more things, and be far more engaging than just having a singular sort of character, because this is not a brand about a singular character. This Each
Right.
person is sort of a role player in the story, each teacher and each student. So we wanted something that can be theirs in their own way rather than having one character that they sort of follow. And that was one sort of central sort of guiding thought. And the other was that having a brand language that sort of has infinite sort of permutations, combinations, and possibilities, sort of like space, right? Like so having that flexibility to be something that can build upon itself. So a mascot might have limited that. So the idea here was having a framework rather than a mascot, an evolving framework or a living framework is how I would like to think about it. And the
Yeah,
logo is
yeah.
just a representation of the framework, I feel.
No, it's pretty spot on, you know. Like for example, like you said, that how the story kind of, you know, it just follows and then everyone kind of understands it. It's pretty nice to see how it is coming out also well. We've not revealed the entire thing. It's of course, like you said, you know, it's coming out partly, but it's lovely to see that how the mascot becomes an important part of the story. But it's not a mascot again, like you said. It's more of it's a creative space to make it your own and more for the kids to kind of like play around with and see what happens. And it's very dynamic there. It's very it absorbs the entire scenic vibe of it and kind of like reciprocates back, and then the kids make whatever they want to make of it, rather than just restricting it to just one thing. I think that's something that we can't really do with a brand like ours when we have like so many amazing kids who are always doing fun stuff. But while we have had like a lot of fun conversation around the reveal that's been happening, I think it's a little bit unfair if we don't really have a little bit of fun with you. So here we go, and boom, that's how we change the screen. I love this screen so much. We are moving from a white to a different shade, and look at the logo. I just love how the logo kind of looks, or like how it changes. It's just so lovely. I love it. Like I'm first, for the first time, I'm using our logo here without, you know, any support of the white at the back. You know, we'd always put the white background so the logo kind of comes out nice. It's just lovely to see how it's coming out. But ladies and gentlemen, our audience already knows this. What's happening, Dave? Let me tell you here what happens. We have a two truths and a lie segment with everyone we bring on live at Planet Spark, because it's important that we kind of steer these conversations while we're working and have a little bit of fun. So, guys, let me tell you this. Dave gave me his two truths and a lie, and he did take quite some time for it, and he wrote it down and he sent it to me. So I'm gonna put Dave's two truths and a lie on screen, and you guys will have to help me out as to which one you think is a lie, and please help me win this. This been I need to win this, guys. Like you see from the last two interviews, I've been losing it. Please help me win this. Here we go. Boom. Here are the two truths and a lies for Dave. He says, I watch basketball obsessively. I collect action figures. I don't have any pets. And while that's that, I am also going to show you what are my two truths and a lie. And here it is, Dave. I've made eye contact with a snake once. I collect funky contact lenses. I come from a branding and design background. So I'll tell you how it goes, Dave. You'll have to read out your two truths and a lie for me, because I think I'll do that voice modulation judgment thing. Like I'll focus and
Ah,
listen. Yeah.
really? I think that's unfair. I think since we know them, we have to just guess them without the tonal giveaways, I think.
Yeah, I'm like, what? Oh, are you sure? Like you'll give it away if you're gonna. So it's fair
I
because
don't
I'm
know
also gonna say
because you're experienced in this, so I would
I have
imagine
lost
that
the last two times. They have lost. Okay, fine. It's to the guest discretion. That's precisely how they are. Birth and death are truths and lie in life. My God, there are a lot of intellectual people who probably gate crash our life, and like a lot of fun stuff is coming there. But okay, if I have to pick, I would say uh, I'm sure you absolutely collect action figures, so I'm definitely not going to go with that. Uh,
okay.
I don't have any pets. I did not hear anyone bark, but you may have a cat. So I don't really know if I want to. And you watch basketball obsessively. It's extremely tough between the 1 and 3 guys. What do we see in the comment section? A lot of people are saying it is 3, but I do want to go with 1. Um, okay, I'll go with the audience. Number 3, is number 3 a lie?
Yes, it is. I do actually have 4 cats. So yes,
Oh, you have 4 cats. Oh my
yes.
God.
Actually, they have me. They have us. Yeah. So they have chosen to make a home. But yes, that is the lie.
Oh, oh my God. Thank God I got that. Okay, now it's your turn. You have the
Uh,
3. Yeah.
just going by how I think we would. Um, my gut says the interesting things are always true. So number 3, according to me, is the lie. But I could be
Okay.
wrong.
Oh, what? It is actually correct. You're right. You're right. It is a lie. I made an eye contact with a snake once, and that's like absolutely something I cannot forget. Oh God, it was like I love them from a lot of distance, only on TV screens now. I do have an obsession with funky contact lenses, the scleras that cover the
Right.
entire eyes. Thank God they still keep me in the organization despite having these weird things that I want to do.
Right.
But I do not really come from a branding and design background. I actually did an MBA in marketing and in human resource.
Amazing.
But I do have an interest in design and how it pans out and the emotion people can like connect with it. But well, that's that. I think all of you guys had fun. There's a lot of fire emojis that are happening in the chat box right now, and thank you so much for that, David. Dave, before you go, we have something to show you. You've been showing us a lot of fun and a lot of love. Now, this is something that we want to show you. And I'm just not going to say anything. I am just
All
going
right.
to put it on the screen. So this is precisely what happened. We wanted to do it together. While we wanted to really emphasize on the LinkedIn community that we have, we definitely did want to do the big launch with the team of over 1,200 employees and 3,000 teachers that we have with us in Planet Spark. And what we did was we gave them a brand new look. Everyone got the creating confidence banners, and more importantly, how they got the change to their profile picture. It was quite a practically like a very operational task, but it was lovely to see how the entire team wanted to come together and get this bit moving, because it's just so much more important to kind of do it together as a team. Like you said, the line that I had put aside, I'd now bring it back into the live where you said that kind of it's important to do it with people, and this is what we've been doing behind your back with the team, and would love to know your thoughts. But more importantly, this is also something we want to communicate today with everyone. It is going to be a to be continued. Like they've said, like they've already mentioned, it's going to be in parts, and more stuff is actually going to come out. But how about, Dave, you tell us a little bit about the concept of the evolved profile picture of all the team. What's really happening there? What's happening on that head? Everyone really wants to know. You may have seen in the comment section already, there are a lot of team members who've already like put that on, but we've chosen not to tell them what it is. So now is the time that we want to break it. How about you unveil that?
Uh, it's essentially what you guys are delivering. You're leveling up. It is sort of the explosion of knowledge, of fun, of everything, right? Like it is the high energy. It is the fun. It's all of that sort of coming together, and uh, you know, and it's just a representation of the many things that are going to happen, and the many things that the sort of the the identity and the halo and all of it will do. So this is just an indication of the fact that there is something new and exciting, and it's the excitement sort of bursting out, beyond the person being able to contain it in that sense.
And just like Dave has said, this is just something that is beginning. There is so much more to come. And as we've unveiled this, ladies and gentlemen, there'll be so much more that will be happening. The website is going to be unveiled very, very soon. Stay tuned. Follow all our social media platforms, and we'll keep bringing you amazing updates, and we'll keep knowing from you and understanding from you. What do you think about it? But till then, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. And thank you so much, Dave, for taking out the time on such a short notice and helping us out. It was a lovely conversation with you. I hope you had a blast interacting with the community today.
Likewise,
And
likewise, it was great being here. Thank you so
lovely.
much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. There'll be so much more from this. As you can see, I'm already too jumpy. I'm just about to go and do a dance a little bit here, because the new logo is going to be out. It's going to be everywhere. Go check all the social media platforms of Planet Spark and go hit that like on that new banner and on that new logo. Don't you miss out. Until then, this is Jatin Seni, your host, signing off. Thank you so much, everybody, and have a wonderful time checking out all the cool updates of Planet Spark.